There are 5 massive mistakes that I've seen a ton of traders do and have done myself, which you definitely want to avoid. And the problem is, if you do not avoid these mistakes, it'll end up costing you actual money. So starting off simple with number 1, that is to never withdraw your money from your website balances into your bank account. And there are a couple key issues with this that you might not initially realize. The first one, and also the most obvious, is the fee that you take when you withdraw the money from the website to your bank account. I've seen on average around 0 to 4%, depending if you want to use crypto or not, which can sometimes cost you the profit that you made off of a trade. Now, let's say you have a method that only has a 0.25% withdrawal fee. Well, you're still not out of the woods yet. Now, think about if you want to get that money back into the market and buy a good deal. You're going to have to pay a fee to deposit money into one of these websites, which is another 2% on top of that, which again cuts into your profits. And then even further beyond that, once you're getting transfers into your bank for large sums of money for bigger skins that you're withdrawing, you'll have to start filing taxes on that. Unless you're trying to break the law, you're going to have to pay income taxes on all this profit that you've made and continually withdraw to your bank account. So by keeping your money in those websites, you're avoiding the withdrawal fees, the next deposit fees, and having to file taxes for that. So the only situation where it's actually worth it to withdraw is if you specifically need that money for real life stuff and you're not trying to keep it in the market. And a little side point to add on is sometimes there's also currency exchanges which you will have to inhibit the fees for, again cutting into profits. It can easily turn a 4% profit trade to a negative 3%. But now moving on to number 2, that's going to be to bargain whatever you're looking to buy. Unless it's already a really good deal, bargaining is almost always worth it. I've found deals lower than 95% of buff by asking to bargain for someone that's listing market price. And so this also goes in hand with the previous point, where if you're trying to move money between sites, you can do it by bargaining to get a better deal to then cover the costs of selling. I think this is something completely underutilized, as a lot of people just buy it outright. And for the websites that don't have it, a little tough luck. Now, the third point goes kind of hand in hand with the bargaining, and that's setting supply orders. If you're looking to invest into items, a really good way to get into that and save a little bit of money is set supply orders just under market. Normally, you'll see supply orders are at 95% of buff price. So if you want them filled quickly, go 97, 98% of buff price. You're going to be saving a little bit of money, and it's most likely going to get filled pretty quickly depending on how liquid your item is, because it's still a good deal for the seller. Although it's not a ton, it's literally free money that you're saving, so I don't see why you wouldn't. And again, I see this as a similar situation to the bargaining, where people just straight up buy right off the market, right off of the listing prices, and it hurts my soul a little. I mean, it doesn't always work, but normally it's worth a try. And so now this is number 4, and that's keeping fees in mind, specifically buying fees on your websites. The reason I say buy fees in particular is because almost every website has a different fee, and this means the deals that you find on these sites can vary significantly if you don't have money in them already. Take Skinport for example. Normally, you'll get 0% fees. Whatever number you see on screen is the number getting taken from your bank account. But then you go to CS2, where you have to deposit balance before making a purchase, and then you're paying 2% to put that money into your account. And so whatever deal you find, you have to add 2% on top of that, sometimes making it not worth your time. But more importantly, if you're looking to put money into the CS2 market, sites that have 0% deposit or buy fees are generally the cheapest way to put money in. And I found way better deals on those sites compared to the others that seem like a good deal, but because of the fees, they're not. So it's important to check that information, because I will admit, I did do this at the start. I saw a decent deal and couldn't contain my excitement, got my card out, clicked purchase, and then realized once the charge got out of my bank account that I kind of got clapped. On the bright side, it did make me learn pretty quick. Tip number 5 is to sell on buff 163 for speed only. The reason I say this is because I've talked to people, and was this person myself, who are wondering if they should purchase a phone number so that they can access buff 163. The main draw is of course its liquidity, but with the way the system is built, it's going to be more difficult to sell something if it's not the cheapest one on the market, meaning I more often have more profitable trades on other sites such as CS Float compared to buff 163. And so I only use buff 163 if I need to sell something quickly and cash out that profit margin, because their sell fees also aren't the greatest. For example, CS Float has a lower sell fee than 163, but it normally takes you way longer to sell. So if you really want the speed, which if you're curious how important that is, check my latest video, then you know your answer. Otherwise, I can assure you it's definitely possible possible to be profitable trading without using buff 163. You just might have to be a little more patient or be willing to undercut the buff 163 price slightly. But this one is more from my past personal experiences, so if you've had something different, I would love to hear it in the comments, and if you have more tips, leave those too. Or join my Discord and you can chat with other people and learn some more stuff. But yeah, that is all for my list. There are links in the descriptions for marketplaces I use. They are my affiliates, so it helps me out a little bit, so I would appreciate that. Otherwise, that's all. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye-bye.